There are no winners here during this coronavirus pandemic, right? We're all struggling. Many of us are depressed. Many of us are, for a lot of different reasons. It could be a financial situation. It could be the political divide we have in this country. It could be the racial divide that we have in this country. This is a very depressing time. We just had the worst quarter financially that this country has ever faced. There are a lot of issues that are facing this country right now. There's a lot of people that are dealing with loss of life, too. Death, health situations, financial situations. The list goes on and on. The point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of people in this country, the majority of people, that are struggling for whatever reason. Just because you're wealthy doesn't mean that you're not upset or depressed this pandemic. Just because you're white doesn't mean you're not upset at racial divide. Just because you're not a very politically savvy person or you don't follow politics doesn't mean that you're not upset with the political divide in this country. We all have our reasons, right? I do this for a living. I'm consumed with it. But just because you don't watch TV and don't watch the news doesn't mean that, you don't know what's going on. And it's, like I said, it's affecting everybody psychologically. I mean, we're going to remember this for decades and decades to come. It's a very difficult time in this country for everybody. For everybody. I don't care whether you're rich or not. Don't care whether you're 20 years old or 80 years old. It's affecting everybody in a different way. And Michelle Obama is no exception to that. I mean, Michelle Obama being, the former first lady to, of course, Barack Obama, she has this podcast. And in her first podcast, which I did listen to, she interviewed her husband, Barack Obama. And in her second podcast, she spoke about how she is suffering from mild depression. So have a listen to this.
I am dealing with some form of low-grade depression, not just because of the quarantine, but because of the racial strife and just seeing this administration, watching the hypocrisy of it day in and day out is dispiriting.
I don't disagree with her. And quite frankly, well, why do you laugh at that?
Brian, come on. Her husband turned John Lewis's funeral into a political rally.
What does that have to do with what she just said?
Her and her husband are perpetuating this racial tension, this divide, Brian.
So you don't think she's lying?
I don't think she's lying. I think kind of like. Did you see what Brian Stelter from CNN said yesterday?
No.
He goes on and he says that there are actual publications now and news networks that are just dedicated to attacking Joe Biden's mental acuity. And he said that same thing does not exist towards Donald Trump. And I almost fell out of my chair when I watched that because
what does that have to do with Michelle Obama?
Michelle Obama, she's the hypocrite.
How is she a hypocrite?
It's the pot calling the kettle black.
What has Michelle Obama said that would make her a hypocrite in the last 3.5 years?
Brian, she has been attacking Donald Trump and his presidency.
Yeah,
since
she's not happy with Donald Trump.
And clearly,
so she can't be depressed because she's a Democrat. She doesn't like Donald Trump.
Of course, she can be depressed, Brian.
So why you?
But when she says something like this, her goal is to get other people depressed because of Donald Trump.
I don't know how you can come up with that
because of the Trump administration. No, that's what she's doing. That's what she's trying to accomplish.
Okay,
Brian.
well, I completely disagree with you.
Of course you do. That's fine.
While I would say I am not depressed, I could say that during the last 5 months or so, I have been extremely irritable. I have been not the happiest of people. This virus, luckily, hasn't affected me as far as getting the virus, but I am not going to sit here. And by the way, that doesn't make it like I'm trying to make everybody unhappy when I admit that. I am not going to sit here and discount her for her saying that she is suffering from mild depression. Hold on, let me just finish.
So, like, if you're,
you gotta let me finish.
Just listen. If you're not,
how can I listen if you don't let me? If you don't listen, you're not letting me finish my statement. I heard you out.
All right, you're not suffering from mild depression. That's good. Me either.
Well, I don't think I am, but I can tell you that it has affected my behavior.
Should we get Alexis Moreno on and have her psychoanalyze both of us?
No,
that would be a good segment.
No, but what I will say is this, JD. When somebody says that they're suffering from mild depression, I don't care whether there's a D or an R next to the name. I certainly don't care whether they're attacking Joe Biden or Donald Trump. I feel for them, regardless of their situation. And I'm not going to sit here and discount what she is saying. I believe her. I believe we are all suffering in some way or another. Who cares whether she doesn't like Donald Trump?
Michelle Obama lives in a $20.6
has nothing to do with money.
$1 million home.
People commit suicide
in Martha's Vineyard.
So what?
Michelle Obama.
So
if you're an African, not
What does that have to
obviously
do
I'm
with
not
it?
African American, but if you're looking up to Michelle Obama and you're seeing how great her life is, and she has a pretty good life, obviously, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, if she can be depressed, then what? Then I must
right.
be depressed.
So let's go with that.
In my opinion, I think that's where this is going.
Okay,
Brian,
so
because-
I get what you're saying. So
Okay.
so let me go with this for a second.
That's why I think that her goal here is to get other people to be depressed, and then use the Trump administration as the rationale for that. Despite the fact, especially with African Americans, that the Trump administration has gone out of its way to pass 4 specific bills catered towards helping African Americans.
Nothing to do with what we're talking about. Nothing to do with what we're talking about. Okay, again, you brought up the fact that she lives in a $20 million home, which I find very.
I brought up the fact that she lives a very nice life.
Okay, you got to let me finish.
Okay.
You brought up the fact that she lives in a $20 million home. That is ridiculous, and I'm sorry, but just because you are and I just said this 5 minutes ago because I kind of knew you were going to take this approach. It doesn't matter whether you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, okay? Robin Williams was one of the most famous celebrities on the planet. He lived in a $20 million home. He's dead now because he suffered from depression. He killed himself. I need to list to you the people, that have killed themselves, that have suffered from severe depression? Some of these people, some of the richest people on the planet, and you say to yourself, wow, what a great life that they lived. I can't believe that they would kill themselves. We are not in a position, any of us, to look at someone's life and say, well, you know what? They're extremely wealthy.
Okay,
hold on, let me finish. They have a great life. And by the way, the reason why I'm upset at people that are attacking Michelle Obama and taking your approach, I want you to listen to Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis. I want you to listen to how she responded on Fox News by saying Michelle Obama is depressed because she's a liberal. Have a listen to this.
So I think that this is more of an issue of Michelle Obama's liberalism, because the Family Institute for Studies has shown that actually conservatives tend to be more joyful and more happy overall with their lives because we still believe in the pillars of society, which is the church and the family. And so I would encourage Michelle Obama to go to church and to find meaning in the Lord Jesus Christ as her own personal savior.
Okay, I got to say, that is one of the most irresponsible and dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life.
It's a pretty good comment, actually.
Okay, well,
Brian.
I'm not surprised you think it's a good comment, but let me explain to you.
I can relate to it.
Okay, let me explain to you why it's an idiotic comment, and anybody who thinks the way she thinks is a moron, okay? There is no study out there that would suggest because you're a Democrat, you are more inclined to be depressed, clinically depressed, than if you're a Republican. When you walk into a hospital,
there actually is. I've seen it.
That's absurd.
I've seen studies like this posted on Twitter. I'll get you the actual one.
Yeah.
But there's also a study that says that if you're unattractive, you're more likely to be a Democrat than a Republican. Republicans, by and large, are more attractive.
Okay,
Brian.
listen.
That
is so idiotic. I'm not even going to entertain that.
I'm just saying.
What is attractive?
There is a study.
What is attractive to you? What's the definition of attractive? What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
We'll call it aesthetically pleasing.
That is idiotic. That is a Donald Trump statement.
That's
You're saying
not a Donald Trump statement.
More ugly people
Brian,
are Democrats? That is such a stupid thing you just said.
All I'm saying is that there is a study.
Yeah.
I'm quoting a study.
Right.
That's all I'm doing.
I know you quote a lot of very credible studies on this show.
You quote studies all the time, Brian. You quoted a study and said that white supremacists are responsible for 326 deaths since '94.
Yes, they are. That's a fact.
And that's fine. And that's fine. Without factoring in Connor Betts, who actually was Antifa, who killed 9 people, and he was included in that 324.
Okay.
So your studies are okay. My studies aren't okay. And that's fine.
When you quote a study, as
long as the listeners understand that.
When you quote a study that says that more ugly people are Democrats than Republicans, you lose all credibility.
No, I don't lose any credibility.
That is ridiculous.
I'm just quoting a study that's out there, Brian.
And where is that study? Do you have? I'd love to know.
Again, I'll find it.
Okay,
I don't have it right now.
I'm sure it's a very credible
but
network.
I will find both. I will find both of those studies.
It's an OAN study.
It is not
sure.
OAN.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
That is just stupid.
I believe it actually came out of Illinois.
All right. Well, let me open up the phone lines. Do you agree with JD? Do you think more Democrats are ugly? Do you agree with a study like that? Or do you agree with Donald Trump's one of Donald Trump's personal attorneys who responded on Fox News that the reason why Michelle Obama is depressed is because she's a liberal? It's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. And anybody out there who makes statements like that, to me, are just garbage with zero credibility.